Alright, I don't know whether we're live. I've never done this before. But I'm hoping it's all working. Very, very strange thing to do this live thing. I went to the library this morning and I got the young bloke, start recording. Maybe we've got to press that. Alright, hello everyone. Jungle Surfer Live here. I just sort of talk a little bit about Donald Trump and see how it goes. This is a little trial broadcast, and if it works well, I'll do more. I haven't done one of these before, so I'm just experimenting here. And moderation helps everyone feel safe. I'm looking at this moderation thing, and hopefully you can you're watching this. So how's everyone going? This is the first live one I've done for a while, and I just hadn't done them because I couldn't work out how to get a screenshot. It's pointless looking at my ugly head. I thought we need to be able to see pictures so we can talk about the images. And I thought this was a very interesting image of Donald here doing the touch of the temple. And I can see that Donald is doing some crazy things at the moment. It's all about volatility. He makes a deal one day and then he breaks the deal the next. But of course all these deals are just pie in the sky. It's all just about volatility. Because the market goes up, the market goes down. And all his cronies, of course, know hours before the next stage of the game where there's going to be a deal and everything goes up, and then Trump breaks the deal and everything goes down. And this seems to be the status quo at the moment. So I just hope that this live thing is working. I can't see anybody making comments here, but maybe they are. Oh, yes, I've got some comments. Hello there. Whatever your name is. Gillian. And something Maniac. Excellent. Here in Oregon. Okay. Hello to Oregon. Yes, this is a bit of new ground for me being able to do this. I'm not sure how to change the image. I mean, none of this stuff is easy. I don't know if any tried to do this. I'm on this OBS thing. I did download this about 2 years ago or something similar to do these things, and I just stopped halfway. And I had a lady that used to help me do a bit of this stuff going back years ago now. But when I approached her about 2 years ago, she'd had a stroke. And so that was no good. So that brought that to an end. And I just haven't been able to find anyone that would do it. But the local library has these young people. And I used them recently to get back onto Google and to help me sort out other things with the computer. And I brainstormed it, and I thought, well, they probably could help me do a live stream. And I don't know how many people are in the chat. I don't know. There should be something where I can tell how many are in here. But I can see that there's been these messages from 2 people at least. So I'm talking to 2 people. So hello, everybody. Hello, all 2 of you. And it's amazing, isn't it? Some of these other shilly people would do this and they just get hundreds and thousands or whatever pretty much straight away. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry to hear about your friend. Yeah, it was really bad, but I told them they were vegetarian people. I'd known them for years, right? I've known these people for maybe 15, nearly 20 years. And I told them all, they're very big dairy consumers. And I used to go to their place and the kitchen stunk of dairy products. And I said, look, you can't, you have a little bit of milk, it mightn't hurt you. But when you go from, a normal meaty sort of diet and then go vegetarian and you're eating a quarter of your food is cheese and milk and eggs and stuff, and you think you're vegetarian, you'd be better off staying on a meat diet, really. just silly stuff, because those things are very thick and clogging. And a lot of people will disagree with that. They'll say, but how about your calcium? And I'll tell you, my bones are perfect, and I haven't had any dairy products really since I was about 19. I was surfing down the south coast of Sydney, and I drove home, and I stopped at this Badella cheese factory, and I had a big double malt milkshake. Now, I'd been surfing in pretty cold water, and there'd been some cloudy days just as I'd left. And I already, had a little bit of a, with the weather like that, you get what my grandmother would say is a chill. Because, we know there's no catching a cold, that's garbage. And having that dairy, and what I did is I left the cheese factory, I drove up the road only a K or so, and I thought, gee, that milkshake was good, chopped malt, And I turned around and went and got a second one. Well, that was a big mistake, because by the time I got to Nowra, which is 100 k's south of Sydney, I was coughing up what we call gollies out the window, and I thought, this isn't good, and I was starting to get a bit of a headache and a heady sort of feeling. Sure enough, that night I was just all congested, and I had a cold that lasted about 3 or 4 days. And I said, I can just tell that those milkshakes weren't good for me. And I thought, I should have had a juice. And after that, I went up north, up near Byron Bay and stuff, and friends of mine were living in a tent up there, and we were all on the mangoes, and I felt so good, and I'm really cleansed. And I realised then that, mangoes and pawpaw, and that's what I just had then. I just had a pawpaw shake with passion fruit and some grapes, and just in my little whiz blender, just whipped that up, and I gave my girlfriend one too, a glass each, and oh God, what a great drink, and so easy. And so rather than having a milkshake, why not have a pawpaw shake? And wow, there's all these people here. Isn't that amazing that so many people... So it shows 5 now. Yeah, I can't see where it'll tell me how many people are watching. Anyway, I guess I'll work it out over time. I'm looking on this page. I've got this OBS page up. It's a whole thing. I can see volume levels and all sorts of stuff. And certainly must be a few people here because I'm getting comments. It's great to see you people all commenting on my work, and thanks for that over the time. I mean, it's a real struggle to get much views compared to all these shill channels. Yeah, so 5 now. Somebody else is saying 5 now. And that's Somniac. It's very small, the chat thing here on the right. And I've been looking at my girlfriend's phones. We put up a few ads on Marketplace to try and sell a few plants, and she's selling a few clothing items. And I've been helping her, and damn phone, it's all small print. You're squeezing your eyes, so I feel a bit sore on the eyes. And this chat box is a bit small too, so... Anyway, it's not too bad. Insomaniac, all those thumbs up. That's awesome. Yeah, so touching the temple, eh? And I explained to this young bloke, very good, guy, and he's very smart, with the computer and that. But he just didn't realise about Artemis. I said, windows in space. Yeah, sure. And I said, how about the rubber sealing to connect them to the metal, because you can't just put glass to metal, rubber seal. Well, that's going to really be good in the high temperatures, come vacuums and or the cold or whatever it is in their lead space. Of course, we know space does not exist anyway, but certainly if you go up high enough, even in a plane, the pressure, if there was a little hole in the plane, it'd suck everybody through the hole out the plane. So it's a very dangerous situation, and people have said that in my comments on my Artemis video, and we all know. And rockets can't steer. I just can't believe how people think they can. You play with rockets when you're a kid. We used to have cracker night, we'd call it. It was for the Queen's birthday, and we were allowed to, set off fireworks and whatever, and we'd have these rockets which go a few 100 feet in the air, 100 metres, if you're a metre savvy. And they don't really need to steer because, they just blast off and they go that far. But anything that's going to go any distance only needs to deflect a little bit to a direction, and it's going to start circling around. And these fireworks that they let off for people to see from Cape Canaveral, do exactly that, don't they? They just go up so far and then do a big curve. Because there's no steering, anything like that. Vector thrusting. It reminds me of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Just garbage for the masses. But the masses are so damn dumb, I can't believe it. You know, it's just unbelievable how silly they all are. When I tell people in the street and uptown, if I go for a cuppa, I often tell people, and when Artemis was on recently, I said, oh, look, this is just the biggest garbage in the world. How do they steer? And they're guys more my age, and they all look puzzled and, oh, I've ever thought about that. And some people say, oh, they're laser guided or heat seeking and what all this guidance. Well, when you drive a car, you use your eyes as the guidance and your hands on the wheel and the tyres, you know, that's how you steer it. When in a boat, you use a rudder. But to think you can steer something with vector thrusting, and then all you got to think of is in the 1950s and even the 40s, the V2 type idea. I mean, what sort of system would they have had then to vector thrust? Would they have cables and pulleys from a little genius box in there that was radio controlled? And, you know, how would you know, like, what sort of, you know, relay system to send the signal? And it just doesn't make sense. A joystick type thing. Sure, today you could have some little setups like radio controlled to some degree for a short distance, but I mean, you just got to look at the footage they show you of cruise missiles, and they go up and down over hills, cruising only, you know, 100 feet, they say, off the ground, and they steer around everywhere, and they're laser or heat-seeking to their target. I mean, they need a rudder, and you don't see that, do you? And I mean, obviously, just the thrust out of the rocket. It's just like when you turn a hose on in the garden, and the hose goes all over the place. They think you could steer that water flow out the back of the hose and keep it stable. You have to be dreaming, because it only really takes, like with the wind, etc., and the pressure, the air pressure as you go up, say in the rocket, it only needs to deflect a little bit, and then it would really circle out and go out of control. Which somebody did say to me years ago about the rockets on a boat. They have those little miniature rockets which do, you know, go a couple of kilometres. But the guy made the comment after I made a video, and he said it was wiggling around everywhere, and he thought, that's not a very accurate weapon. And weapons really need to be accurate to be effective, because, you know, they would cost a fair bit of money, and you're just throwing money off the side of the boat, as it were. And, of course, the question of payload. How much payload can you have for how much rocket load? So none of it makes sense. I mean, good old shells out of a big cannon, that does, and that is real. Some things are real and some things are fake. I mean, it's a mixture of both, and the people are really gullible, so they can get them and suck them in. And I love that Somaniac there. He says, love your work. Thanks so much. Does anybody know how many people are here now? I don't know where on this thing I can find where it says how many people here. It's just amazing that there's not a thing on there, you know, for it. Yeah, strange days. But, oh yes, ridiculous indeed. Yeah, that's right, Somaniac. It's just insane, isn't it? They're scientifically illiterate. That's what I put it down to. Because I said to this guy who's very good with science, but not good enough to think about the steering of the rockets. But I was talking about, because I had this image up of Trump touching the temple, and I showed him a few of the different things: touching the temple, behold my heart, holding the throat for I'm in distress, touching a pair of glasses or the eye to say I'm changing my point of view. And he'd never heard of any of it. And I said, that's right. I said, you're very good at science, well, the computer part of it anyway, but without the history, it's no good. You can be led easily. And the same as somebody can be very good at history, but they haven't got a good scientific idea. So you've got to have at least, you know, both. And you may be better at history and not as good at science, or really good at science and not as good at history. But both faculties have to be reasonable, or else you're bound for trouble. And that is the problem. Because I know a guy very, very good at science, but he's following the government line with the COVID. And they're all following the line with the statistics. They were arguing about deaths from COVID, and I felt like jumping in, but I did because they recently destroyed my Facebook account because they don't like people who point out to these people who are arguing the real truth of the matter. I wanted to say, look, you people are so gullible. You're listening to mainstream media statistics. They can just tell you anything they like. Wake the F up and, think of it and think the whole system's a matrix. It's total spectrum dominance. And so they can say anything they like. And of course, all these people take that as gospel and then argue about those nitty gritty facts, as it were. And it's just ridiculous stuff. Hey there, somebody else now is here. It's Shit Some of these people, I like your names in a way, but they're a little bit hard to read with the little at, and some maniac's got like a number there, what is it? 3007. I like that one actually. But yeah, it's wish they were in more capital letters or something here on the thing, Little squiggles there. It's a very small screen. I've only got a little laptop, so anyway, I'm looking at it a bit closer. I had my head a bit far from the camera so I can see that. Most of the comments are from Insomaniac. Good on you for commenting so much. And there's Pedro Jesavantes. Hello from Canada. Awesome. Yeah, somebody from Canada. Shots killed my husband. Yeah, I'm not surprised. People who've got a bad diet were susceptible, I didn't think a shot in itself was that dangerous, but it's a sludge. That's the way I look at it. Now, if you inject yourself with sludge, you're bound to have some trouble. Of course, they couldn't make it too dangerous because, they couldn't have everybody dropping dead very quickly, and that would have turned the rest off. They just have something that's going to kill a percentage, and especially people who weren't healthy. I know people who got the shots who were on a healthier diet and it didn't affect them. But people who already had, a look about them of blood pressure and stuff, plenty of them had some effect, Maybe a week later they were admitted to hospital. I know two exactly like that. A bit overweight, on a heavy, death food diet, and that was that. Now, unfortunately, my battery is running low, but so I won't have much time here now. But it's been great to have a little bit of a live stream here, and I've just got to work out how I can change the images here for this. So I might just experiment at that now and see if I can bring another image up. Yeah, I've got one here. I should be able to do this, I think. You have drag, will automatic link. Yes, see if that'll do that. No, it hasn't changed. So, oh no, well, something's happening. Yes, oh, look out. It's a very small image, this one. So I don't know what's going on there. I should have made it, wait, I'll try again one more time here. If I go to these images, okay, and I'll go to this one here, and then I'll make it a bigger image. Oh, it's damn slow. Here we go. Now I might be able to... Oh, I tell you, it's really not easy. We'll see what this one does here. This image is better than that little one there. Teething troubles indeed. Oh, look out. Oh, that's better. Look at the double pentagram for Donald, eh? Alright, well, I hope you've been enjoying the videos I've done recently. And I certainly will attempt to do more of these live streams. I don't think I've got much battery left here at the moment, and it's going to take me a bit to go. It says naught remaining. So I'll wrap up this live stream now. And thanks so much for all these little comments in the thing. And this has just been a trial run. And I'll be able to do these live things now and work out how to do these images better. And we'll take it from there. So maybe once a week I'll do a live stream, and I think everybody will be happy. Watch them all. And that's from Shakis. Good on Shakis. Good on you, everybody that's come to this stream. Does anybody know how many people are watching here now? If they can just tell me that before I go, I'll have to stop the stream because it's going to drop out with the computer. Hun, could you go and get the charger maybe for me? Quickly, I might be able to keep this running. I'll just see if I can plug it in before it drops down. Oh, a lot of 4 hearts here. Still only 5. Yeah, I need the charge thing. That's not the right one. Is it the right one? No, that's the other old Lenovo. Might be just outside the door. No, it's not there. It's outside the bedroom door. You'd have to be pretty quick, I reckon, because it says nothing left on the charger. Yeah, the double pentagram. I'll just see if I can plug in. We can do another couple of minutes. This is quite. Yeah. Quickly plug it in for me, huh? And we'll save the day here. Get it into that power there. Okay, look, I've got it plugged in now. Hold on. Oh, save the day. Okay, we can go on for another few minutes till I'm bored. Yeah, so what do you think about the old Venus whaler, eh? And I was watching that, we had 8, and they might have dropped off because the cell was going. Well, that's the start, isn't it? I'll probably end up being able to do this and get a little bit more of a crew on here, I guess. I mean, these other people get so many, but they're promoted, of course. But I was watching that decoding guy, and he had the illusion guy or something like that. They came up with some pretty good research about certain things, but they were talking about Venus a whaler, and they were, I was so sorry for the people there, you just wanted to jump in and say, hey guys, come on now. But you've got to be really careful, of course, and that's how because they are silly like that, they get better treatment, The closer you get to telling, reality, it's not good. Did you see there was a map of the Pacific Rim, and they had a whole series of these things going around the rim? That was classic. Japan, Venezuela, New Guinea. It was hilarious. And of course, the good old Fear Factory running hard, isn't it? I thought that was interesting. If you saw that video I did about Beatrice and Harry, that surfing image of Beatrice, that was really amazing there, where the Brazilians are really taking over the world surfing comp from, previously Australia, and the Americans were always been the best. It's been no one else really compared. And now it's all Brazilian. But you notice them like their surfing, it's like MONKEs. The good old classic Aussie Chargers, they should be winning, in my opinion. We're the best surfers in the world. But apparently they're doing some sort of surfing stance, the Brazilian soccer. And they've got it sort of connected up. I thought that's quite interesting. Brazil's taken over in surfing. So it may be Brazil going to win this World Cup. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And they had some interesting information about Holland and the orange bit. And of course, we have the orange man. So that is all quite interesting now when you think about it, isn't it? The orange man and Holland with the orange, and of course William of Orange, and we're going to change over here pretty soon, I'd say. I think pretty telling, Charles on the 77 number, and of course the next birthday will be 78, and we know that 78 stands for transformation, so they might let that happen. Watch it and see Argentina here. The current world champion is Brazilian, yeah, I think so, and even in the top rankings, it's pretty dominant by Brazil at the moment. That's in the surfing. And strange that they're using this surfing idea, and then you got Beatrice doing a surfing pose. It was blatantly a surfing pose, wasn't it? And I wish I'd focused on that and shown the Brazilians, because apparently the Brazilian team is doing this surfing pose when they score a goal or something. I'll have to check that more out over the next few days. I don't watch a lot of media, and I certainly don't like this World Cup. It's not organised sport. I like swimming, and surfing, say. Getting a bit old for surfing now, but I still like it. But I like bushwalking, I like, real activities. I like watching television, watching other people doing things. And don't you just hate these big stadiums and that, and all the lights and all the energy that's wasted? Just ridiculous. I said to people years ago, you get 50, 60 and whatever, we get up to 90,000 people in Melbourne at the State of Origin rugby league game just a week or two ago. And I thought, if all those people stayed home and planted a tree tomorrow, for the money they paid to go to that, there'd be 90,000 trees in the ground. And that would sort out any of the environmental ideas. But no, they won't do that. They'd rather go and have all those lights on and watch all these people kick a little leather ball around. And I mean, just so what, It's all right if you go to the park yourself and have a bit of a run with the ball. I've done things like that. We used to always play a bit of beach cricket, or we'd have forcing back or touch football, we call it, just in the park, when I was younger, for a bit of fun and exercise. But I don't mind actually doing gardening, swinging a mattock and axe, etc., planting things. That's good exercise in my opinion. It's productive, But of course, you can have a bit of fun exercise too. There's no doubt about that. But certainly I don't get much fun out of watching stuff. The World Cup surf, we don't surf. Yeah, I don't know what, no World Cup. Yes, I'm not sure what they're saying here. We don't surf. And then you got a laughing SpongeBob looking thing. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, so I don't know what you all think about that Zoalan thing. That was funny. I saw one today. There was a big fat lady, and they were pulling her out of the rubble, and she was very clean. That's all I can say. It reminded me of things we'd seen in the Middle East, and the old rubber, what's, and they hold them up and run around, and everybody's clean though, squeaky clean, aren't they? The tent idea, yeah, sure. And obviously they're doing some redevelopment in that thing. The same as in Ukraine. They had a huge big ski resort. They say they're 1.2 billion. Of course, that's your 12, your 21. So I don't know whether that was the right amount, but I'm sure they have it. Live, like Olivia, LVIV. It's a brand new ski resort, and it's going to be open. And that's exactly what you do when there's all this supposed to be going on. You build something like that, don't you? In a zone. Be careful. Of course, the words I use here, just use zone. The zone. The W and the A, the RAM, the Mars zone, the WA. So I've got to do it real cryptically, an R zone. And in that, you put up this big ski resort. And Odessa too's been getting remodelled, because a lot of those facilities dating back from the Russian era have been, not the best. They were built in the 60s and 70s, 80s, and everything needs a refab, and that's the same with Pally. So we can see why this is going on. All right, well, I'm going to let this go now. Can we see a couple of comments, mate? Is it still bloody going on here? I don't know, some yellow things come up here. I'm talking to myself now. But good to see some people comment, that's for certain. So, yeah, I don't know. Can somebody tell me how many people are in the room here now at the moment? Maybe nobody. Maybe I'm talking to myself. Alright, well, it shouldn't be. I haven't pressed stop recording, stop streaming. So, I don't know. Are you still here, anybody? Very good, eh? Very good to get this thing working here. Okay, yeah, I see that there are still 8 people. That's, well, it's good for a first up, and I didn't have any warning about this. I've just gone bang and done it. And good to see at least I can get 8 people. Isn't it amazing, eh? After being here for how many years, you know, I think 2008 or 9 I started these videos, and, you know, I had up to 20-something thousand on my channel, and there's 12 or so on this 1,000, and we can get 8 people. And some of these others have 4 or 5,000, and they'll do these streams and they'll have, you know, a few hundred people. But of course, they've been doing them for a while. I'll only manage to probably do one a week of these things, I'm thinking. But I'm sure there'll be a loyal little bunch of people that'll be, yeah, collabs, but there's no one much to collab with. I would collab with Christian, of course, if he wanted to, or maybe Dave J. But, you know, most of the people are not my standard here, you know, unfortunately. You know, mate, there's a top shelf here with the junglers, you know, I've never shilled anything, I don't muck around, straight to the point, you know. And I keep it very, like, tennis game, and I'm on the sidelines. I try and keep it like that. Oh, oh no, they don't. My girl's just come up with a really nice hot drink for me. Isn't that nice? Good on you. Who's JL? Is that Jurassic Liars? Oh, he'd be an interesting one to think, even though he's a bit silly and he says stupid things. He does some good research somewhere, but he's always been wrong with the dates. You know, you can't call the dates. They're like cut snake, mate. They can do any date they want. And, you know, they're all going for this 611 business. And it keeps failing for them. And it's like, you know, what was said is that the 9/11 one was programmed heavily, and we should have picked that up on that, and people didn't, and it happened. And then they doing this one with the 611, which I can see there is a fair bit for that one, but it's more likely that it's like a red herring on you. I said, you know, when you look at the 9 and then the 11, well, maybe you can go 12 and 8, you know, on a sequencey thing, go one down, one up. And of course, that was Obama's release date, and that could be more to go. So that could give you the 12th of August or the 8th of December. 12th of August, to me, I said years ago from the episode of The Saint. I think it was episode 55, I'll have to check. We just had Beatrice 55, and her birthdays are only 8th. And that's just after the Lionsgate. Well, it's called the Grouse 12. And then Roger Moore, comes out and he says, oh, interesting thing that they raise all these grouse all year, and then on the 12th, they go around and shoot them. And so I thought then, you know, that was from that episode of The Saint, and I thought, that's an interesting thing. And if it ever does happen, we'll be able to say, oh, it was an episode of The Saint. I think it was 55, pretty sure. It's in my memory bank. I will go and check that. Really good little episode of The Saint. I used to like that show, actually. And then you realise they're all on the tea. It's a bit disheartening. A bit disheartening all round, isn't it? All the TV's drinking tea. And but it was definitely more easier to watch those things in the 60s, and just TV fell apart in the 70s. That is for certain. It was some sort of better quality. Even though it wasn't great either. At least those shows like Get Smart was a bit funny. I didn't have the good pre-program in there with Chaos in the Building, if you've ever seen that one. That was a classic, I thought, because it even had the same beams. The construction sort of looked very similar. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, look, Elvis centered. Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, I think me and him have probably talked about Elvis more than nearly anyone else, you know. I was always a bit aware that Elvis was certainly a big part of the spellcraft there. I've got quite a good collection of Elvis records I've picked up over the years. At a local market here one time, I remember, for about 20, 25, 30 bucks somewhere, I forget how much I paid for them. I bought, you know, quite an amount, maybe 10. Elvis records. I thought that's a good buy for the future. And we get a bit of fun here, whack a record on, you know. If you're working and that, it's good to have a bit of music to work to. I certainly don't laud any of these rock stars. I probably did back in the past. We all did, a little bit. Never to a full degree, but, it's good to know the stuff and then you realise, but just to have a bit of light music, as I said, if you work, it somehow makes the day go better working. Have a bit of a tune in your life, as it were, just don't take it too seriously. But it's interesting that music has so much pre-programming in it too. It's a bizarre world, isn't it? That, it wouldn't be good if we had sort of better stuff, as it were, but, unfortunately it's just not the way the cookie crumbles, is it? And we get to see so many of you commenting here. I can see somebody else here. What's their name? I have to lift the screen closer. Diablo Joe! Hello, Diablo Joe! Loving the live. It's Zinsomniac, I see, yeah. And Cheekiss. And somebody from Argentina. I see Cheekiss from Argentina. And I can hear my girls playing some nice guitar over in the background there now. You won't be able to hear it here the way I've got the screen placed. That's really nice, darling. Yeah, play on. I've been teaching the guitar, and it's good for it's good for any woman because I think we like. and for anyone, it's been good for me. When you're in a depressed mode or something, just pick up an instrument and play some tunes. It really can make you feel good. I got into that as a kid. They always said about pacifying animals. People have a lion and they're playing the guitar to it, and the lion's sedated. I'm not too sure about that one if the lion's hungry. But certainly that crocodile thing the other day. I mean, crocodiles, if they're fed, they are not dangerous at all. And I really question how dangerous these things are to a degree. Certainly, I've done some fishing when I was younger, and we have these things in Sydney Harbour called Port Jackson sharks, and they're not that big, but you have to be careful if you caught one and then you pull them into the boat. They were angry because they're getting hauled into the boat, and they could possibly take your finger off, But just the way the shape of the mouth is in a shark, it isn't very conducive to being able to bite at limbs, and that's more swims behind fish, opens its mouth and vacuum cleaners them in my opinion. I think they could take a bit of a bite of somebody and people can bleed to death. But certainly there was one guy in Byron that allegedly, look, I wasn't there to witness it, but he was living with a friend of mine and he did pass away allegedly from a shark attack. And it was from bleeding to death. They dragged him up off the beach and he had a gash or whatever on him. Something like that. But I say, most of these things are just, another thing to get everybody, as they like to do, Yeah, so look, I might wrap it up now. I'm running out of energy and need a bit of rest. Had a big morning this morning. Got a bit of stock from the nursery and took my girl down for, we've got a Middle Eastern restaurant now just down here and had a nice little feed there, nice and cheap, $20 and feeds the two of us, $10 each, can't beat that these days. Most places you go, it just costs so much money that it's just not funny. You quickly rack up bills of $50, $60 and you're still hungry, but at least I always like Levo, that you always feel full. We had a falafel plate, and he likes us because we go there a lot, and he gave us, usually it's 6 falafels or 7 today, and a big pole of hummus in the centre of the plate, like what somebody would probably charge $5 or $6 for just the hummus. It was only $20, and a couple of homemade pita breads he makes, so it's bloody fantastic. So we're very lucky. We live a good life really here overall. It was just a bit sad recently. The petrol went up that dear that it was costing a fortune to go anywhere, but it's dropped off a bit now. But I guess it's going to go up again now with what I saw in the media. So it wasn't that funny, Some people think, Trump's going to be so good. And Trump gets in and suddenly there's volatility like good old Howard Lutnick. Wasn't that a good one, folks? I've been talking about Howard Lutnick, because Sarah and the 101 and the Red Doll for years. And he turns up with Trump in the White House. I just couldn't believe it. I never thought we were going to see much of Lutnick again. Certainly he seems to have disappeared lately, but Do you remember when he was there with Trump with Chabad? Wasn't that funny, eh? They hang around with those guys with the black hats on and they're inaugurating them into the Chabad. Yeah, it's a crazy little world, eh? And Trump's big with the Saudis, though, doing the sword dance too, so, you know, they're all in the clubs, you know. There's the poor people and there's them, and they love volatility. And the mums and dads all go out and invest when they hear, oh, the strait's going to open, well, stock will go up, we better go and buy some stocks. And the next thing, it goes up a bit, and all the Trumpers sell out, and then they're left holding the bag. It's just criminal. Absolutely criminal. Yes, Trump me well. It's so true, isn't it? None of them are good, mate. And we've got this Hanson here. She's not going to be any good. And they say they're going to stop the immigration. You know, they're bringing them in for cheap labour. You know, people are fools. But, you know, what choice you got? This current government in Australia is shocking. They're all shocking. It's just shock on shock. You'd need to get the jungle up there, mate. I'd get down there to Canberra, it is in Australia, over to Washington. Give me the job, I'll sort it out, don't you worry. And they're never going to do that, are they? They don't let me get more than 8 people that I can talk to on here live. After all the years and the effort I've put in, can you believe it? But of course we can believe it, you know. Shadow ban. Shadow ban to the hilt. Yeah, they're not going to let me do anything. Alright, folks, I'm really going to wrap it up now. And so go and watch a few more of my videos and make a few comments on my past videos if you can. Just share them with a friend or something. And just get the word around a little bit, you know, about the work I do. And certainly the work the old Christian Resurrection does. Very good. And there's these conversations Dave J does, quite good. And past that, I'm struggling. You know, those Gematria guys, just for some of the research they do, but you got to take them with a grain of salt when they start crying about people in Venezuela. You know, when we can just see the fat lady getting pulled out of the rubble, you know, how can they not see that? Or they don't want to see it? I'm not sure. But yeah, if anyone knows of any good channels on here, I'm always asking that. And people recommend me duds, you know. I do look around myself. And how shit, eh? How terrible it is over there. It's just, they have this round table with psychologists and Jim's the worst. Jim Mazzoli. You know, fake nukes is about the best of them, but even he can't see that Jude and D-E-W-N. Drez is Jude, D-E-W, Drez. It's the Driz, the Priz, like Presley, the Pris. It all means like pristine, means the essence. And that's something to look for. You know, they always work with those words. And then they have a thing, a D-W weapon. I mean, it's always the same. Never any different. Yeah, and look, yeah, even the Zio, you know, I mean, there's Zio and there's anti-Zio. You got to really be on the side of the tennis court, just watching the game and looking after yourself and your friends and family, and grow a bit of your own food if you're blessed enough to be able to. I don't know what to suggest, mate. It's a jungle out there. That's why I called it the jungle serpent, because we're surfing through the jungle, aren't we? And all we can do is have a bit of fun. Hey, thanks for the good live stream. I've had fun. It's good to see these comments. This is one of the better live streams I've done too. I've done them before, and the comments are much better here. Certainly, you know, it would be better when I get more savvy at changing the picture on the screen. I can see it's not that hard to do. I'm just a bit lazy. I'm actually in bed, me head up on a pillow, because I've been, you know, running around. They got up early and been running around today, so I'm just having a bit of a rest, and I'm going to go out, and I'm building a grow wall so I can grow plants up a wall, save space. And I get the turkey, bush turkey comes and digs things out. Go out there in the afternoon, does it in the late afternoon, comes up And if you put a foam box down and put all new seedlings or just seeds in it, the next thing is digging it all up. It's not one thing or it's another. It's a real battle, but it's worthwhile growing a bit of your own food. We love greens, and we use them in everything we cook. And if we make an apple juice, throw a handful of greens in it, make it greener. And the magnesium I love for the aches and pains, as it were. Because I'm 65 now. I'm not doing too bad for 65, but I'm certainly not the same as I was when I was 40 or 30. You do feel the aches and pains as you get older. But yeah, the greens are great, I think, for the eyes. My eyes have improved. About 5 years ago, they were getting a bit fuzzy, and I really thought, I really got to get into these greens. I started growing a thing called native Australian celery. It grows in water and it grows year round, and I consume quite a bit of it and other greens, like a pennywort plant. And it's a very green thing, and rocket and things like that, and I juice them up, and I tell you, my eyes are great. Other than, when you're looking at real small print on the screen, well, but I still can read it. Just I've got to get closer to the screen than I may have years ago. All right, folks, I'm going to go now. And, hey, thank you. Yeah, greens are the go there. Yeah, the Freely's a bit of a dubious one, but certainly her advice on diet is good, and she does look good for her age. There's no doubt about it. Anyone should know that. I mean, I knew that when I was a kid. I used to, sometimes for breakfast, I'd get up and I'd just have munch into the greens, and I found that when I had something like Kellogg's cornflakes, which was so popular in the 60s when I was a kid, I always felt a bit lethargic and a bit brain dead. But when I got into this veggie garden thing at about 9 or 10, I was growing a lot of veggies. And before school, I'd often go out and just harvest the greens. We had quite a few fruit trees and a bit of fruit. I'd be on top of the world. And that's where I learnt first that, oranges, what a great thing to have for breakfast, or an apple juice. And we used to get this Bilpin in Australia near the Blue Mountains apple juice. And admittedly it was in a bottle, but it's still a lot better than having, thick, creamy stuff like that and gluten-y stuff, You can have a bit of that if you want, but certainly you want to cleanse the body. Nowadays, I always start every day with a carrot, apple, and a handful of greens in the juicer. Pears, I love pears. And sometimes pawpaw shake and pineapple. We have, I'm blessed, I live in Queensland, we have pineapples pretty cheap. And I'm just a pineapple and passion fruit. God, I love passion fruit. Oh, I can eat 6 or 7 of them at a setting, no problem at all. All right, folks, get into those greens. Yep, absolutely, as he says. And thanks for saying good live stream. And say goodbye there, Shakis, Insomaniac, and Diablo Joe, and whoever else is here. Can give me one last update on how many people are on the stream here now, if you can. Is it possible just to tell me? Probably less than 8. There's a few love hearts coming up on the thing. Oh, that's nice to see. Can anyone just tell me how many people, though? Be interesting. Very interesting screen, this OBS. All these little figures and the volume things. That's quite crazy. Number 1. 9! Oh, we're slowly building the numbers. Oh, we're here for another couple of hours. We might have 20, eh? It's a bit like earning money on BitChute. I'm up to $5 now since last October. October to now. Well, you need 100 to take it out. So sometime in, what would that be? Oh, I can't even think. 2036, I'll be able to make $100 withdrawal. Gee, I won't want to spend it all at once now, will I? All right, folks, that's it. 9 people. Good on you guys, and we'll do another live stream soon. All right, thanks a lot, and love yous all. I'll send yous a love thing there. Good on you. Thanks so much for coming, you 9 legends. Okay, bye. Cheers.